Welcome to my shower. I got a valve that is not fun to turn off anymore, so I'm going to show you how to replace the cartridge. We don't have to replace the whole thing, so I don't have to tear apart any tile, but if you have a Moen type valve, it's called the Positemp, the cartridge, it's called the cartridge. That is the piece that mixes the water, and that's also the piece that after some time will be hard to turn off. Now, I've got the water turned off to the house, so it turns on easily, but then it's really hard to crank off, especially when it's been running for a while. Like that nasty noise. So, we're going to take this apart, pull the old cartridge out, put the new cartridge in, show you how to do it. First things first, we got to take off the handle. There is a small Allen wrench bolt that's right here that holds it onto the system. If you see a lot of hard water or mineral buildup by the screw, just be really careful not to strip it out. It's very easy to strip out a screw when it has a lot of mineral deposits on it. Also be real careful not to lose the screw, like drop it on the ground, because your shower's sloped and screws will fall down into the drain. So we've got some buildup right there. A little bit of buildup on the screw. Definitely see some buildup there. Next on the Positemps is when you take this front part off here. There's a Phillips head screw that's just right in the middle. Left to loosen it. Depending on how tight it is in there, you might have to hold on to this. Again, make sure you don't drop the screw. And remove this. This allows you to adjust some temperature settings on it. And then last, we're going to take off the cover here. 2 screws on this. These tend to be longer screws depending on how far back your valve is. You might have more or less to unscrew. Now, depending on who installed this, it might have silicone behind it. In this case, I installed it, no silicone. There's also going to be a little sleeve on this that helps cover the cartridge from exposure. Save that. And here is a closer look at the cartridge. So we're going to remove this part. In here is the pipe that goes up to the shower, and then on either side, one is the hot water coming in, the other side is the cold water coming in. So we're going to remove this tab here, and then the cartridge should slide out. Again, make sure your water is turned off. So just pull this clip out, set it off to the side, and now we're going to work to pull this out. It should just kind of pull right out, though I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be a little tight because we're having problems with it. So we might need more elbow grease. More gripping power. Just a pair of vice grips. Hold on real tight, and then you just want to, don't pull too hard. Maybe turn it a little bit, see if it wants to move any more. This is in there tight. Now be careful, because if your valve isn't in there really strong, you could break something. So that's why I'm trying to support the actual brass part of it as I pull on the cartridge. Alright, to try to make sure I don't break anything, we're going to try to use a flathead screwdriver. There's a little slot in the top here where that pin came out of, and we're going to try to use that to leverage a little bit to try to get this thing out. Also try right here at the top of it. Oh, nope, that broke it. Nope, that's not working either. Breaking the plastic off of it. Depending on how seized up your cartridge is will probably be a direct correlation with how hard it's going to be to pull out. And because of the way that this is designed, it spins freely constantly. So it doesn't have like a real stopping point to where you can get some leverage to spin it. But one thing I'm going to try is see if my vice grips can grab the cartridge and not just the post. It's when you start to get real forceful with stuff that you can tend to break things, and that'll just cause more problems. Trying to pry between the vice grip and the housing, trying to get some leverage in there to help me get this thing out. It is just seized in there really, really good. My guess is it's the two washers that are on the sides of the cartridge that are catching on stuff, gumming things up. So that's definitely what was going on, is these washers on the side here have degraded down, which means I really need to make sure this is cleaned out. And I can feel part of the washer there. Yep. So all this black that's coming out is just from the broken down washer. So looks pretty good. I'm going to grab a brush to clean it out. Now I don't have a brush the right size, so I'm going to use this sanding screen. I just want to go in there and make sure that all the debris is off the sides where those gaskets were, that there's not any leftover residue. Feel with my finger. Feels pretty good. We're going to get a little more going in here. Actually, finger's small enough to fit in there, so that's good. Be probably better with a wire brush, but sometimes you just make do with what you got. And since the water's currently off, I use what I've got, which is a little bit of distilled water and a funnel to get it in there. There we go. Here's a new cartridge. You'll notice that these gaskets are shiny, which means they've got some lubricant on it. And you're also going to see that there's an HC on the top. Some of them say up, but the HC, that tells you which side is up, because that's going to be your hot on this side, cold on that side, which is exactly how we have it plumbed here. You also want to make sure you don't rotate this piece until you get it fully in there and everything's kind of locked into place. You want to be careful not to turn that. Inside the package comes a little bottle of this lubricant. We're going to go ahead and put the lubricant on all of the rubber parts. I was afraid it was going to be a little messy. It's not too messy. So I'm going to rub that on there. Okay, turn it over, get the other side. Again, rub it on there. Then we're also going to make sure to get it on this O-ring here, just to make sure we give ourselves the best chance of success. Okay, HC is up. Just insert it straight in. We're almost in all the way. It's hard to see, but if you look down through this slot here, this is where that pin's going to go. There's a little gap where that pin slides into on the plastic. We just got to go a touch further to get that pin to slide in there. I think we got enough to put the pin in. Let's see. Oh yeah. There she goes. Perfect. Alright, now that that's in, we do everything else in reverse order. So, first that goes on is the sleeve. Then the cover. Make sure you don't miss the holes. Very easy if it's just turn slightly to completely miss the screw holes. Obviously this goes faster if you have a drill, but I wanted to do this all with hand tools. Also, you want to be careful when using a drill that you don't use one with too much power, because you might break something. I like to go back and forth when tightening to make sure the whole thing tightens down evenly. Anytime you're tightening a large surface, something like this, you always want to kind of go back and forth, or if there's multiple screws, you want to kind of balance out your tightening. That way you're not tightening one side more than the other. All right, next goes on is this piece. This does come in two pieces. It allows you to change some temperature settings, but we're just going to leave it like it was. Going to go straight in with the tab facing up. And now this, although we took it off kind of shape facing this way, we had already turned the knob, so we're going to go here like this. This tab here on it is going to go just to the left of the tab on the white piece. Stick it on there. Last but not least, our handle. You'll note this little tab here slides in right there, so that's kind of where it goes. And then you're going to take your Allen key again and go up through the bottom hole. Since the water's still off, you could turn this if you wanted to make it a little easier for you. And let's test this out. On, super easy. Off, disturbingly easy. Let's turn on the water and see what happens. If you're finding this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button. And if you want to see more homeowner how-to videos, hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss out on a new how-to video.